All right, 6:41 now at News Talk 96.5 KPRO. Wednesday, April. You saw, we heard how that happened in my brain.
It happens to me every day, whether I'm reading news or I'm talking about the weather. I mix things together.
It came out Capril,
which
I like it.
And
That's
I
fun.
think probably because our next guest decided to surprise us 5 seconds before it went on the air. So we're like, what?
All right, so Josh Guillory is here.
This happens a lot.
Upon the announcement that Mayor President Joel Robideau would not seek re-election for the seat he holds in the parish, your name continued to come up all day long as someone people were excited about, and
you said you were thinking about it?
Decision been made?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on. You know, I love you guys. I listen to your show every morning. Winging It Wednesdays. I think my daughter is familiar with all the guests now. So I appreciate what you do. I'm humbled by all of the calls and emails and honored. I really am. From Friday morning, mid-morning, all the way through Sunday. Finally, I told my wife, I said, look, we're going to give this serious thought. I talked about it. We prayed about it. And we did. And I made that decision. I am running for mayor president of Lafayette. I see the direction that our city and our parish is going. I know we can do better. We can bring businesses back here. We can fix drainage. We can get this big government mentality outside of this parish, keep it outside this parish, and let's grow. You know, I moved here at 18, 4 days after I turned 18. I've never looked back. I went to UL Lafayette. This is my home. I love it. My wife grew up here, Acadiana High, Wrecking Rams. Learned that. And I think back over the last 20 years, and I see the direction our community is going. We've lost that sense of community, and I think it's because we have a disconnect between our leadership and our constituents. And that's not anybody individual. I'm not here to call anybody any names, but it's that mentality, and I see it sweeping across our country. I see it sweeping across our state in Baton Rouge, and I see it creeping into Lafayette, and that bothers me. I have 3 children and a 150-pound Great Dane, and I don't like the future that we're giving them, and I know that we can do better.
There will be a lot of challenges that will come up if you are elected to this post, and it's about bringing a community that is so divided, right, like our nation is, together, although most people will say, hey, we agree on so much more than we disagree about.
We agree far more than we disagree in this country, in this state, and surely in Acadiana. And I think a lot of the problems that we're facing from a leadership standpoint is a lack of transparency. I said in the break, I'm announcing on this show for a reason, for symbolic reasons. I am committed. Should I be blessed to be the mayor president? I am committed to coming on this show once a week, opening up the phone lines, taking in phone calls. Mayor Durrell did that. Hey, you don't know what's going to come in on that call.
He never did.
And that's okay. That's refreshing. Our constituents need to have a partnership with their mayor president. Look, I don't know every acronym in the UDC code, just like Donald Trump doesn't know every provision in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. He's a leader. I'm a leader. I don't have all the answers, but I know I care. I know where my heart is. My heart's here in Acadiana. I know the direction I want this city parish to go. I want businesses to come back to Acadiana. We can't control what's going on in Baton Rouge. We can't control the political climate, the business climate that we've created in this state. But I know what? I know we need proactive, conceptual, outside-the-box thinking, leadership, management, transparency, and it starts with the city parish president. And I will bring that back on day one.
One of the big things that Mayor Durrell did at the beginning of his administration was they established a hotline for fraud or people who wanted to, share information. I know it still exists. Is that something that you think you would be interested in? Because, it's not that anybody's doing anything wrong. I'm not saying that. It's just maybe sometimes people have old habits. And now we have new ways of doing things that could maybe increase productivity so that we're getting more bang for our buck with whatever work we're doing.
I think any form of communication, any form of transparency is a good thing. And I do welcome new ideas and with this new digital age, smartphones and things like that. But we shouldn't throw away the ideas that worked in the past just because they're older.
Right.
We need to keep what's good, scrap what's bad, and move forward. But I thought that was a good idea, and I think we need to continue that. But again, I think a lot of our problems come from two things: a lack of leadership, proper management, and transparency.
So let me ask you, with the campaign, I know that you're going to have, you'd said just briefly right before we popped on, that
I'm
you would
talking
have
right before,
like
guys.
5 seconds.
I like to wake us up on Wednesday. You know,
I'm telling you, like, we're like, okay. So,
well, look, and this is just my personality. I will when I need to when I need to make a decision and it needs to be in a split second. I'll make it. And I'll live with the consequences. This wasn't one of those decisions. I could pump the brakes and take a few days. I know in my press release I said 2 weeks, but once you make a decision, there's no reason to string people on. And I know too, and people listening to this that know me know I have 2 gears. Go and stop.
That's nice.
And there's no middle gear there. So if I say I'm doing something, I'm doing it 100%. I have a history of that. God knows I'm not perfect. I know I don't know more than I do know, but I know what leadership is. I know how to make a decision. I know how to lead people, and I will lead Lafayette in the direction that we were going on and that we can go back to.
Will you, or let me phrase it this way: what kind of campaign do you anticipate? What is your philosophy in terms of that? Because local elections, they can get ugly, they can get tough.
Bernie, I was with a good friend, Pastor Craig Gregory in Breaux Bridge this weekend. I was honored to introduce him to his new pastorship at his church. And someone in the sermon said a little phrase that resonated with me. We are all but a seed of God. And sometimes seeds need dirt to grow. So you can throw all the dirt on me you want. I'm nothing but a child of God. I've ran a campaign before. I challenged an incumbent. I'm a Republican. I challenged an incumbent of my same party. I didn't get dirty then, and he didn't get dirty. And we've talked since. We've talked during. I have a good relationship with Congressman Higgins. I support him. He knows that. On the night that I conceded, he knew that right then and there, and I think he continues to know that. He has my prayers, my support. It's all about issues. I can't control what other people say. They can throw whatever they want on me. You're not going to see me do that. Now, I may be critical of certain decisions or policies, but that's fair game when you put yourself out to the public.
I want to ask you about the charter, obviously, because this is a huge
discussion.
Part of it. We know within the current mayor president's office, at this point, I'm not even positive a transition team has even been put into place. And of course, you will have the fix the charter side that says, look, even in this meantime, while we don't know exactly what's going to happen, there is going to be some sort of transition. What do you think about that, especially on the need for transition and keeping everyone on board with where you're going?
Well, we're going to learn a lot more in May when Judge Stronghold makes his ruling. So hopefully it's a clear-cut ruling. Judge Stronghold I have the utmost faith in. I'm not saying this to get brownie points when I have my next community property case in front of him.
Right.
But he's a fair judge. He's a thorough judge, and I think he's going to make the right decision. Either route, I know I'll be prepared, and I'm going to have a team to transition, whichever route we have, whether we have this new charter, whether we start from scratch. I'll go on the record and say I didn't vote for the change, not because I didn't think we needed a change. I do think we needed a change. I thought I was very vocal at the time that I just didn't know what was in it. And my dad taught me when I was young on these constitutional amendments, on anything of this significance, if you don't know, when in doubt, you vote no. I do think we need a change. If we have to start from scratch, my position is very straightforward. Lafayette deserves its own mayor, its own city council. The unincorporated areas deserve a parish council, and if we want to put a parish president or a parish manager, that's fine by me. I might be the only person in America running for a position that says take power away from me.
But well, it's a little bit confusing.
But I believe in limited government.
And I do think that one of the problems people have had with the current situation that we have in the current form of government is that sort of internal struggle. And I often wonder, especially when we talk to Youngsville Councilmember Matt Romero, we talk to folks from Broussard, I never get the feeling that they get the same attention from Mayor President Robideau as Lafayette does. And I know that's a hard thing to accept because you have to put on both hats.
You absolutely do. I don't see how there can't be a conflict of interest or a natural perception of a conflict of interest. I know that I can wear both hats if that's what I'm called to do. I have a good relationship with my good buddy Ken Ritter and Ray Bork and all these mayors of these municipalities. I've been very blessed and fortunate to develop a relationship with them over the last couple of years.
Do you anticipate their support in your venture?
I sure hope so. I sure they need to support me because they know I'll support them. And here's what I was about to say on the municipalities. As a mayor, when you have the parish hat on as a mayor president, when you walk into that municipality, you are in a support role to that council and to that mayor. And I don't think we have that right now. Look, I've had the benefit of living in Youngsville, and I think Ken's doing a great job. He knows I love him, and stay out of this race, Ken. But if he's listening, he's laughing.
See,
no.
I like you're very straightforward about what you think.
Well,
you know,
this is the way I look at it. Youngsville's doing a great job. Let's have 2 Ken Ritters and not just one. If he gets in this, then we lose a great mayor in Youngsville. And he knows that's how I feel, but he knows I love him. I support him. I think he's a fantastic guy. And if he does jump in, look, the whole process will be better. But if I'm blessed to be the mayor president, when I walk into Broussard, when I walk into Scott and all these municipalities, I am there to support them. I will lead. I will lead by example. I will lead from the front, and I will lead with transparency. But we have got to bring back that partnership from our municipalities and our parish president. We're lacking it, and I can bring it back.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about divisive issues. And we don't really have time to dump into them, but on the topic of just division, every time we have something major or something even minor, like the naming of the mascot of the new high school.
Yeah, boy. Woo.
Everyone runs to their corner, and we don't have that conversation happening in the middle. We see it every time there's a tax proposal. Yes. We see it now with the charter. We've seen it with where to put the new school. We see it with everything. What do you see the role as mayor president in bringing those sides together? Will you make it a point to say, come to my office, let's get in the conference room together?
100%. 100%. And it starts by leading from the front, leading by example. It's okay. We are a local government. You know, when I ran for Congress, I was a big fan, and I still am, by the way, of very much a limited federal government. I don't think I don't think U.S. reps or senators should opine on local issues. I think local leaders have those solutions to local problems. Mm-hmm. But when you're a local leader, make your position known. Hey, look, throw it out there. If people don't like it because that's how you feel, that's fine. Have that open dialogue. Bernie, I think you hit the nail on the head, though. We do agree more than we disagree. But when you hold reservation, when you don't bring out what you really feel, and when you wait the last nanosecond to make your position known, that's when we have problems. That's when we have divisiveness. Like I said, I appreciated Mayor Durrell when he came on your show once a week and opened and fielded calls. I will bring that back, not because I want all the attention on the radio. Matter of fact, like I said, you don't know what's on the other side of that mic.
Yeah, and there were times that it was really, I'm not going to lie, people were, straight out ugly. But, regardless of any of that, it did offer an opportunity for people to say what they wanted to say what their problem was, say what their issue was. And a lot of stuff got done.
Absolutely.
The issues got out there, the people in the departments were listening, and then issues were addressed. So, all right, well, thank you for that side of it, Rob.
Let me ask one more question, and we're running out of time.
Yeah,
we're getting up to the top of the hour.
Here.
I'm hoping I can stay long enough to be on Winging It Wednesday. Go ahead.
The invitation is there. If you'd like to stay, you stay. Do you know Carly Omlabar? She is the other announced candidate. She's running a campaign as well. Thoughts on how you could work through things, maybe even work together, because we know it's going to be one or the other if there aren't other people that throw their hat into the ring.
Absolutely. I've had the opportunity in the last couple of weeks to talk to Carly. I think her heart is in the right place. I think she's a good person. I think she's very knowledgeable, very smart, and I mean all of those. If I didn't believe that, I wouldn't say it. I promise. I think I've proven that. By now.
You're a straightforward person.
I think what the voters of Lafayette need to really consider is look at the person's mindset on government. I believe that government really has 3 functions: economics, infrastructure, and security. That should be our priority at all times. If an idea comes across my desk and it's not in those 3 areas, it's not necessary. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it, but that's not really where we need to go right now. We are hurting here in Lafayette. Take green spaces, parks, and that initiative in the arts. I love to be outdoors. I'm a musician. I like my children are into the arts. I promote it. But is that really our priority in government? There's a lot of people that will run for this seat. I'm confident that will say parks and green spaces bring jobs. They have it backwards. Jobs and new businesses bring parks and green spaces. Drainage attracts businesses. Infrastructure attracts businesses. And I am confident with the leadership in the president's office, we can have a good relationship with businesses to bring all those things to Acadiana.
All right. So Josh Guillory joining us this morning, just announced about 9 minutes ago. You made it official. You are running for the mayor-president seat here in Lafayette to replace Mayor President Joel Robideau, who
Thank
said...
you for...
I'm
sorry.
Yeah, that's...
I just want to say thank you for making the announcement with us and trusting us for that. Thank you for saying that this will be a clean campaign. I know you're going to get that from Carly. And so now, as you said, it'll be up to voters. They can look at the different issues, the different platforms, and decide what works best for them. So I guess we're gonna have to have him. We're gonna have to have you on Up Close.
Let's do it.
It'll be your turn. So I'm gonna schedule him now. So we'll work on that.
Let's do that on the air.
Yes,
I'm kidding.
and we need to hit this break right here.
Oh,
I have a couple more questions in the break. I will report his answers in the next hour. How about that?
That sounds
all
fair.
right. 6:57 now at News Talk 96.5 KPEL. You can find more on Josh Guillory at kpel965.com. Again, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. The race now 2 declared candidates here in Lafayette. 6:58 now.